All right, so I think we should start now. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. I hope my screen is visible now. Okay, is my screen visible to all of you? A simple text would do. Just let me know. I'm going to consider that as a yes. So, in the last session, we learned about what perception is. Can anyone tell me what perception is? Let's just have a recap. Am I audible?
Yes,
Okay, thank you, Jigmet, for letting me know. Okay, so I think I should just start on. We studied, we started off from perception the last time, and we came to know about perception that it is the process of how we know through our sensory impulses, through our sensory, the stimulus that we are given through our environment, we select it and we organize it, and through those inputs, we understand our environment, and that process of understanding our environment through those inputs, that is known as perception. And after that, we also learned a little bit about the step that comes before perception, that is sensation. And we learned a great deal about attention as well. And what is attention? Attention is like a highlighter. Okay, so there is a lot of stimulus that is, being bombarded on us by the environment, but out of all of those stimuli, we are only selecting a few of them, and we are only focusing on them, and those particular stimuli are being used to interpret or to understand the environment, the outside environment. Now we are going to move today on the laws of organization. The laws of organization, they are going to be applied in perception. This is the second stage of perception is organization. So, how our mind actually organizes these stimuli that we are attentive to, that is governed by these laws, and these are only some of the laws. There are a lot more other complex laws that we have, rules that we have, but this is one of the most important ones, Gestalt principles. So, we're going to start off from here today. So, laws of organization, Gestalt principles. In the early 20th century, three German psychologists, Max Wertheimer, Wolfgang Kohler, and Kurt Kafka, proposed new principles for explaining perception, called as Gestalt principle. According to these psychologists, the process of perception does not involve perceiving an array of stimuli as an object, but it involves our tendency to seek a form or pattern in it. Okay, this is a very important point. Gestaltists, these psychologists, they have this one basic principle that we see things as a whole, not just the components. So it is not an array. Array means multitude of stimuli which is being thrown at us. But we have this tendency to look at it as a group, to find a common viewpoint to whatever we are looking at. The literal meaning of the word gestalt is form or configuration. Actually, this is gestalt is a German word, and gestalt means totality or wholeness. The basic premise of Gestalt psychology is that whole is different from the sum of its parts. Based on this basic premise, Gestalt psychologists proposed a number of principles or laws to explain the process of perceptual organization. That is, how we perceive smaller units of stimuli as a whole having particular pattern. So we are going to proceed. Acha, would you like to do this activity with me? Can you all tell me if you can see these faces in this picture here that we have? Come on, you should talk.
fine.
Yeah, Jigmet, yes. I think I can point out a few faces. Wait, let me try. I don't know if you people get more than these. Just let me know. I'm just circling out a few. If you guys get something new, please let me know. This is fun, by the way. You remember these kind of activities? They used to be in the children's magazines. When I was young, I used to go through this segment in the books that I used to, buy. There must be more. Here, I found a big one. Okay. I don't see any more faces.
There's one on the right.
There's one on the right here.
Yeah.
Can you give me something specific so that I can
Yeah,
figure
you are
out?
just on the rock. Yeah.
This is the eye. I don't see
If
it.
you look at it, it's looking towards the top left.
It's looking towards the top left. Okay, let me try to see. I'm still not able to see it. I still can't see it. I cannot see
Okay,
it.
never mind.
Okay, I cannot see it. So, from this one activity, you figured out that perception is individualistic. I am a different individual and I cannot see a face over here, but Jigmet can see, right? So perception is different for everybody, right? For every individual, it is different. Okay. Now we have the figure ground relationship. This is not a law. This is just a basic that we have to use in all of the laws that are going to come up ahead. Okay, figure ground relationship. The basics of what actually figure ground relationship is that whatever we look at, it has a figure and a background. A figure is something that easily grabs our attention, that we are prone to naturally pay more attention to, and the ground is the backdrop of that figure. Wait, we have somebody here. Okay, and the backdrop is the backside or the space where the figure that we are looking at, the one which has sharper boundaries, which we are more prone to be looking at, that is placed on. So here this is a very simplified example here, that we will either see these two men over here, these two people, or we will see these three pieces of chess. So, and also the two of them cannot be the same at the same time. We cannot look at the figure and ground at the same time, that this is the figure and this is also the figure. That is not going to happen. There is always a sharp boundary, and that boundary or that contour is the area where there is a huge disruption in the brightness or the color, or there is a boundary that is known as a contour, because of which we are able to differentiate between the figure and the ground. Okay, so not just this, the example of figure ground relationship is even a text. This text that is written over here, we know that the words that are printed on this paper, they are the figures that we are reading, we are focusing on it, and the background is this white space. Okay, all right, so we'll just go through this part. Okay, okay. This principle states that we have a tendency to segregate our world in the form of figure and ground. Figure is the part, figure is the part, that part of stimuli which has our focus of the visual field, of our visual field, whereas ground is background. Figure has a definite shape, it has a definite shape and is better remembered, whereas background is shapeless and it has no limits. This figure we've already seen, two people or two pieces of chess. Actually, there are three pieces, not two, one, two, three, right? When we focus on the chess pieces, people become the background. Wait, we have someone. All right. Okay. So, and another thing that I want to tell you, it's not just that it is. give that this is one specific situation that we will only be able to see it through visual cues. When we will look at a paper and we have the words on it, only then we'll be seeing this figure background relationship. No, we can even sense it in the when we eat something, and suppose you're eating a momo or something that you like. I just like momo, so I'm just gonna say you're eating a momo and it is too salty. So the taste of that salt, which is striking you the most, because you know it is too salty, it is going to be the figure, and the background is going to be all the rest of the stuff that is tasting in your mouth. So the figure is that is going to instantaneously catch your attention out of the rest, and the rest is going to become the part of the background. Okay, so we have the first law. There are six laws that we have in our material, and I have created a mnemonic that I'm going to give you in the end, so that you are able to remember all of these things. Like specifically these laws, if you are sitting in the exam or somewhere and you're not able to remember it quite easily. अच्छा, लॉ ऑफ प्रॉक्सिमिटी. प्रॉक्सिमिटी मतलब होता है पास होना. Proximity means closeness. Okay, the word proximal. The word proximal means close. Distal means at a distance. So we have law of proximity. That means law of closeness. So here the figure that we have been given, this is going to look like one group. We are going to assume that this part is a whole group, and these are other groups. These are three different groups. This is what we are going to assume, but in actuality these are just circles, blank circles kept along in a specific pattern, and we are getting that pattern more. That pattern is catching our attention most strikingly. So the gestalt principle of proximity, in order to perceive stimuli meaningfully, stimuli which are closer to each other are perceived by us as belonging to one group. Four of these particular laws that we are going to study, they are going to be related to grouping. Okay, they are going to relate to grouping. I'm going to point it out later. Due to this reason, people tend to see following circles as cluster or group either than individual circles. Our brain tends to group large elements as one to make us interpret more easily. I even had some other examples to show you. I would just show it to you. I'll wait. I had saved all of those documents. I thought that we will be completing that part yesterday. So I had that open yesterday, but today it's. I'll just open it. Wait. The three laws which are actually based on grouping, uh, uh, they are the law of similarity, the law of proximity, and the law of continuity. These three are based on grouping. This is law of similarity. So, law of similarity says that when we look at certain individual entities which appear to be similar, we tend to group them up together. Common tendency, natural human tendency. I'm trying to open this up. Apologies for the delay. All right. Hmm. Let me just show you all. I think you all might have seen this stuff in some other books, because this is not given here. These are very common examples. So I thought that I should um, include them in our discussion. The principle of proximity, we were studying about proximity, right? Can anybody tell me if here we have anything that resembles proximity ka principle? Actually, it is written. Yes, I think somebody wants to speak. Please, you're welcome.
Yeah, the A thing, the lines,
These
we
ones?
perceive
Oh,
the,
yeah, this one? Yes,
yeah.
yes, we are going to
So the
perceive
two
this.
lines,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yes,
we imagine them as like groups of two lines.
yes, because why? Why? Just because they're placed closer to one another. These two are
Yeah,
placed closer. That's why.
proximity.
Yes, absolutely. This is another set example that we have for proximity. Would you like to tell us about this one too? Jigmet, it was Jigmet, right?
No, it's Naira.
Oh, Naira, come on.
Okay, yeah, the same thing basically. The first one we perceive as a like
Square.
like all the dots are perceived in the different shapes. Like
Hmm.
first is like a square, second is like a rectangle, third is
Hmm.
like another standing rectangle.
Right, right, right. And okay, okay. Let's move on to the next law. I am going to have a lot of trouble. See, I am very, very naive. I don't really know how to use this Google Meet and all that. I'm not that sharp in all these contexts. So please, I beg your pardon. Don't get annoyed if I don't really know how to use these things properly.
It's okay, it's okay. Everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, okay. So, law of similarity, we have this principle states that stimuli similar to each other are grouped together. For instance, in the figure 8, we tend to group circles based on its colors. In real life, also, we use this principle extensively. For example, during a cricket match, we tend to group players based on the color of their jersey. Okay, so we have similarity. We are going to remember that this is based on grouping. Okay, so I'm going to highlight it in a different color and we're going to come back to it when we are discussing the mnemonic. So this is, I just changed the color. What's the deal with this one? No, don't listen to this. Awesome. Now I don't know what is going on. It is not working, my dear. Highlighter is not working. Okay. So similarity, and then we have proximity here. This is also based on grouping. We have similarity, which is based on grouping. Do I have any other examples for similarity in the one document I had saved? चलो लास्ट में देखेंगे ये सारा. इनको लास्ट में जब हम पढ़ लेंगे सारे, तब आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए बैठेंगे साथ में कि कौन सा किसको बिलोंग करता है. ठीक है, फिर वी हैव लॉ ऑफ कंटिन्यूटी और गुड कंटिन्यूएशन. ये गुड लगाते हैं ना, जहाँ गुड फॉर्म गुड कंटिन्यूएशन, ये एक्चुअली जर्मन से उनका ट्रांसलेशन है, इसलिए गुड लगा देते हैं वहाँ पे. ओके. It refers to our tendency to perceive figures in continuation rather than in parts. This principle is exhibited more in the perception of line. In the perception of line, you might want to remember this because ये specific ऐसे ही directly आ सकता है कि किस चीज़ के किस shape के perception में this law is most commonly exhibited. Now this is perceived as a line instead of separate circles. All right. वैसे इसका एक अच्छा एग्जाम्पल ये भी था. अगर मैं ऐसे करूँ ना कि अब फ्रॉम हियर टू लाइक हेयर इन दिस पार्ट, इफ आई ड्रॉ अनदर समथिंग ओवर हियर, इफ आई ड्रॉ समथिंग apart, what the hell is going on? My system is running slow today. If I draw something just near to these circles here and I make it appear like there is another line going on in this direction, you're and the shape of these circles that I draw, they are different, their color is different, you're more prone to be thinking that this is the actual line which is going. You won't perceive the line to divert in this way. So there is also a principle of similarity that is going to be applied, that the circles that you think are forming this line, they're more similar in this direction, so we will form this line. The actual pattern that our mind is going to follow is this is the actual line. The line is not going to abruptly change its directions that easily. I'll show that to you. I have a better figure for this one explanation. Then we have the law of closure. I think you all know this is किस चीज का logo है ये, right? WWF का logo था ये पहले, अब तो शायद चेंज भी हो गया होगा. अच्छा, law of closure. This law should not be confused with the law of proximity. This law states that we have a tendency to perceive stimuli as closed shape even with some missing parts. So here the example of this panda is given, but the page that I had shown you, there are common examples are a circle. We see that it is a circle, but it has spaces in between the boundary of that circle. It has gaps. The boundary of that circle has gaps, but we have this tendency to look at it as a circle only. So that is the law of closure. I'm going to give that to you again. You'll be able to see, we'll identify it together. Okay, law of common region or common fate. So the principle states that stimuli moving in a similar direction perceived as belonging to the same group. Again, we have grouping over here, and this is just the example of cars which are moving in particular direction. But you all must have seen certain birds, group of birds, which are flying together in a particular direction, right? And not just birds, we have fishes, huge swarms of fishes. डिस्कवरी पे अगर किसी ने देखा होगा, वो एक ही डायरेक्शन में जा रही होती हैं. दे आर रियली ह्यूज ग्रुप्स. So we assume that they're the same group because they all are going in the same direction. Acha, this was a little bit confusing, so I came up with a better explanation for it. Law of good form and that is or pragnance. Good form, pragnance. Pragnance is the German word. उसको हमने translate किया. That is why we got good here. सो ये जो है, ये लॉ ऑफ सिंप्लिसिटी भी बोलते हैं इसको. सिंप्लिसिटी क्यों हमने इसको कंसिडर किया, सिंप्लिसिटी क्यों बोला है? हियर वी हैव दीज सर्कल्स. We are going to see these as circles. We are not going to see these as these shapes. Okay, we are going to simplify this figure. We are going to see them as circles and not as these complicated shapes that are being formed on the inside. We are going to find out the easiest explanation for this visual cue. So the word Pragnas is German in origin, meaning good figure. This principle is also called law of good figure. According to this principle, out of all ways of grouping stimuli, we tend to group stimuli in the simplest and stablest shape. Thus, we can say that simpler forms are more perceived by us. For example, instead of perceiving figure 12 as consisting of five circles, we tend to perceive it as a symbol of Olympics. So we tend to perceive it as a symbol of Olympics. I did not understand that what this particular statement meant. So I went through some other resources and tried to find out better explanation. So we are going to see these as circles, five circles, not as a complicated shape as a whole. If anybody comes up with a better explanation to make me understand this, it's great. But I think what I found out, it's quite satisfactory, that we are not going to see and look at this figure as these complicated shapes. Instead, we are going to group it as five circles together. Okay. Now we have perceptual constancy. Constancy मतलब किसी चीज का कांस्टेंट रहना. ओके. और मतलब हमारा परसेप्शन किसी चीज के बारे में कांस्टेंट रहना, दैट इज परसेप्चुअल कॉन्स्टेंसी. और ये अलग अलग रिस्पेक्ट्स में होता है. कई चीज़ों की शेप, कई चीज़ों का साइज, कई चीज़ों की ब्राइटनेस या उनका कलर, दैट इज ऑलवेज कांस्टेंट फॉर अस. एंड दिस इज अ ग्रेट थिंग फॉर अस. Otherwise, the environment around us, it would have been very confusing. So perceptual constancy is a remarkable feat की spelling गलत है, for of our perceptual ability to perceive familiar stimuli as constant. Okay, with reference to size, shape, color, and brightness, irrespective of the change in the environment, location, and characteristics of the stimuli. There are basically three types of perceptual constancies: size, shape, and color. Okay, so size constancy. मैं आसान तरीके से इसे बताने की कोशिश करती हूँ क्योंकि इसमें कंफ्यूजन होने के चांसेस रहते हैं. मेरे को आराम से समझ नहीं आया था. We have this figure here. We can see two tiny people over here. ओके। तो अब हम इसे, हमें इस पिक्चर से समझ में आ रहा है कि हम इसकी तरफ बहुत दूर से देख रहे हैं, लेकिन हमें तब भी ये आभास है, हमें अभी भी ये समझ में आ रहा है कि द टू पीपल दैट आर स्टैंडिंग हियर आर नॉर्मल साइज्ड पीपल। वो इतने छोटे नहीं है जितने हमें यहाँ नजर आ रहे हैं। हम एक पहाड़ की चोटी पे खड़े होके भी इन दोनों को देखेंगे तो ये हमें छोटे तो लगेंगे दोनों आदमी, लेकिन हमें इतना समझ होगा हमारे पास कि इतने जितने छोटे हमें दिख रहे हैं तो छोटे नहीं है, एक्चुअल ह्यूमंस हैं। दे आर द साइज ऑफ अ नॉर्मल ह्यूमन। सो दिस इज दैट आवर माइंड इज परसीविंग देम, हमारा दिमाग ये समझ रहा है कि दे आर नॉर्मल साइज्ड ह्यूमन बींग्स, इवन दो आर रेटिनल इमेज, इवन दो हमें जो दिख रहा है हमारे रेटिना पे जो इमेज बन रहा है इनका, वो इतना छोटा बन रहा है। All right, so this is the principle of, this is the concept of size constancy, that even though the retinal image of these two people that we are looking at right now so small, even though we are looking at such small visual aids, visual ideas, these two people so small, the image of these two people is so small, even then we know, we understand that these people are normal sized people. Our retinal image of the people standing in this picture is very small, but all thanks to the phenomena of size constancy, our brain perceives them as people of normal size. ओके। और अच्छा समझ में आएगा, शेप और कलर की बात करेंगे अभी हम। शेप कॉन्स्टेंसी एज द डोर स्विंग्स टुवर्ड्स अस। अच्छा, ये बहुत ही अच्छा एग्जांपल है डोर वाला, सबसे इजी एग्जांपल यही है। आपने दरवाजा देखा, आप उसके सामने खड़े हैं, यू कैन सी इट एज अ रेक्टेंगुलर शेप, ओके, एंड देन व्हेन इट इज ओपनिंग अप, इट इज ओपनिंग अप टुवर्ड्स यू, तो उसकी शेप चेंज हो गई, आपकी रेटिना पे ये इमेज बन रही है। फिर और खुला दरवाजा तो उसकी शेप ऐसी हो गई। Now the shape of the door has again changed, and now it has completely become so linear. It almost looks like two dimensional. But even then, even though the shape of the door is has changed so much in in a span of seconds, even then you are able to understand, you are able to perceive the door as this is the actual door, कि वो दरवाजा ऐसे ही है, बस उसकी शेप ऐसे चेंज हुई है बिकॉज आई एम लुकिंग एट इट इन अ डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन। so the shape of that door is constant. I will perceive it as a normal door only. Like this is a normal door itself. Even though the retinal image of that door is going to change with the direction and the angle that I'm forming with respect to the door. As the door swings towards us, its shape changes and so does the retinal image of the door. But still, we perceive the shape of the door as same due to the shape constancy. And now we have color or brightness constancy. Suppose मैंने I have a pencil and my pencil is of blue color. Okay, now if I am standing in dim light, the color of the pencil is going to change a bit. I won't be able to see it as the color which I saw in bright light. So I know that the image, the retinal image of that pencil, the blue color has changed now, but I will still understand that the pencil is blue. The pencil has not changed. I will perceive it as blue even though it is dim evening light or bright afternoon light. I will know that the pencil has the same color. If I have a rose and it is red in color, I will change whatever be the brightness outside, whatever be the color of the light outside, I'm still going to perceive it as red, although the image formed on my retina is going to be different. So we will perceive it as of the same color. It is our ability to perceive the color and brightness of stimuli constant even with the change in the wavelength of light at our retina. Okay. For instance, in figure 15, we perceive the color and brightness of the rose constant. All right. Okay. So now you would know that these small crevices, these dark areas of the rose, even they are red. The color is going to be constant even though there is less light. That is why these dark areas are being formed. But the color is the same. It is going to be red only. Okay. Now we have factors. This is the last portion of the chapter. Factors affecting perception, effect of motivation or need. See, motivation and expectation, all these things, they not only they influence perception, they influence a lot of other psychological principles, a lot of other psychological processes. They are mostly common in a lot of areas. So time and again, when we go through all of these things further, we will be able to recall. We'll give it a reshot. Okay, we'll give it a review. So motivation always plays a vital role in various psychological processes, including perception. You must have observed that when you feel hungry, the smell of food catches your attention more easily than when you are full. It catches our attention. That means the filtering of the stimuli that we are going to pay attention to more, we actually filter it out more easily. This stimuli, this smell, this stimuli, we are able to filter it out more easily. Why? Because we have a motive behind. We are hungry. Okay, so many experimental studies have also reported the same effect. In a classical experiment, Stanford reported that hungry participants perceived ambiguous stimuli more as food related stimuli than non hungry participants. Similarly, in a recent study, Changizi and Hall demonstrated that your need for thirst could also affect perception. All right, and not just this. This part has a lot of studies and their deductions given here. So if you do not understand something, just let us know. Let me know. We'll discuss it. Discuss it here. Otherwise, most of these are just deductions out of studies. Effect of expectation or perceptual expectancy. This is what I was talking about in the last class. So, perceptual expectancy is a person's readiness or a predisposition to perceive things in a particular way. Predisposition मतलब पहले से ही एक प्रिडिजियस होना दिमाग में, पहले से ही एक जजमेंट लेके चलना कि हमें यही रिजल्ट मिलने वाला है. ओके, तो उसमें पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस पहले का जो नॉलेज है वो काम आता है इस वाले इफेक्ट में, परसेप्चुअल एक्सपेक्टेंसी में. आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं पहले से ही कि ये आंसर होगा. इन अ क्लासिकल एक्सपेरिमेंट, ब्रूनर एंड मिटर्न इलस्ट्रेटेड द रोल ऑफ एक्सपेक्टेशन इन आर perception. In one condition, he showed his participants an ambiguous figure of 13 in the context of numbers like this. In second condition, he showed the same ambiguous figure of 13 in a context of alphabets like this. In the first condition, यहाँ पे इस वाले में, the participants perceived the ambiguous stimulus as 13, while in the second it was perceived as B. The ambiguous stimulus in both conditions was same, but interpreted differently due to the participants' expectation. अब इंटरप्रिटेशन ही ऐसा हुआ है अलग अलग, तो मतलब परसीव अलग अलग किया है उन लोगों ने. इंटरप्रिटेशन से मतलब ये है, हमने जब लास्ट टाइम किया था इसको, तो हमने इसे एग्जाम्पल ऑफ टॉप डाउन प्रोसेसिंग किया था कि हमारा यहाँ माइंड जो है वो अपनी प्रीवियस नॉलेज, इनडायरेक्ट वे में अपनी प्रीवियस नॉलेज, प्रीवियस एक्सपीरियंशियल नॉलेज को यहाँ पे यूज करके हमें एक आंसर दे रहा है जो कि एक्चुअल जरूरी नहीं कि वही हो. We are perceiving it in a particular way. That was also a theory of perception. So here we are perceiving it as 13, but here we are perceiving it as blue. Completely depends on the context where it is, that gives us an expectation to expect a particular result out of this, and that is why we perceive it as different in the two contexts. In another classical study, Bugelski and Alampe used an ambiguous picture of the rat man as shown in figure 18. This picture was presented in two conditions. पहली कंडीशन में पार्टिसिपेंट्स को एक्सपोज किया, एनिमल पिक्चर्स दिखाई उन्हें, और फिर उन्हें ये वाली पिक्चर दिखाई. और दूसरे ग्रुप को बहुत न्यूट्रल पिक्चर्स दिखाई और उसके बाद ये वाली पिक्चर दिखाई. तो जिस ग्रुप को उन्होंने एनिमल पिक्चर्स दिखाई थी, उन्हें तो ये रैट लगा कि दिस इज अ रैट, दिस इज द फेस ऑफ द रैट, दिस इज द ईयर ऑफ द रैट, दीज टू आर द ईयर्स, एंड दिस इज द लेग ऑफ द रैट, एंड दिस इज द टेल ऑफ द रैट. ओके, बट जो दूसरा ग्रुप था जिसको न्यूट्रल पिक्चर्स दिखाई थी, उसको क्या लगा कि ये रैट मैन है, दिस इज अ ह्यूमन फेस, दीज आर द आईज, एंड दिस इज द नोज, दिस इज द नोज हियर, एंड दिस इज द ईयर. ऑल राइट, so they looked at it in a different way. So what happened? The people who were looking at animal pictures, they were already expecting that the picture they are going to see is again going to be of an animal. And the people who were looking at neutral pictures, who were not given as any idea, they were able to see it in either ways. And most probably they would have seen it as a human face. I saw it as a human face when I first looked at it. Okay, effects of emotions. This is a tricky part. Emotions are, they come and go, and we have this predisposition of trusting them way too much in certain conditions, but we should not. Now, what do you think can affect emotion? What do you think can affect emotions affect your perceptual ability? अच्छा, इसमें भी एग्जांपल दिया है कि इफ यू आर फैन ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर आईपीएल टीम, और आपकी किसी जो आपकी फेवरेट टीम है उसकी किसी प्लेयर को एम्पायर ने आउट कर दिया, तो आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि जो एम्पायर है वो पार्शियलिटी कर रहा है वहाँ पे, वो आपकी टीम के अगेंस्ट हैं, सब आपकी टीम को हराना चाह रहे हैं. सो दीज आर कॉमन इमोशंस दैट कम अप which actually make us perceive things in a different way. We're perceiving the empire to be partial towards our team. So you believe that your team is perfect and it cannot make any mistake. This example shows that your emotion for your favorite team is distorting your perception out of the reality. Emotions do not hamper your perception always. This is also important. An important point that needs to be mentioned here is that emotions do not always hamper your perception. Sometimes it facilitates it also. इसका सबसे अच्छा एग्जाम्पल, जब आपको कोई ऐसा सब्जेक्ट पढ़ना है, आप कोई ऐसा सब्जेक्ट पढ़ रहे हैं जिसमें आपका इंटरेस्ट है, आपके इमोशंस उसको इंटरेस्ट आपका आपके इमोशंस उस सब्जेक्ट की पढ़ाई को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, आप उसे करना चाहेंगे, ऑब्वियसली यू विल मूव फॉरवर्ड इन इट विद अ बेटर फीलिंग. But if you don't really want to do it, it will kind of seem like a burden. This is what is given here. Sometimes it facilitates it also. Studies have suggested that when perception task is irrelevant to emotions, it hampers your performance, whereas when your perception task is relevant to emotions, it facilitates the performance. Another study we have, it was reported that emotions not only affect one's perception but also influence the working memory. Emotions have a huge role. All right. So we have effect of stimulus characteristic. You may have noticed that horns used by heavy trucks usually have high frequency, high pitch, and high volume. Why? Just to grab your attention. Studies have shown that those stimuli which sound, taste, look, or feel different grab our attention more than other stimuli and thus affect our perception. According to the evolutionary psychologists, this property has a survival purpose. It has helped humans in identifying danger. I gave this example in the last session as well. That I was discussing this in respect to attention at that point. That we were having selective attention at that moment. कि हम किसी ब्राइट चीज़ को बहुत तेज स्पीड इंटेंसिटी से मोशन से आते हुए देखते हैं, तो वी आर प्रोन to actually pay attention to it more quickly than to other things. So this is an example. This has been given here once again. तो स्टिमुलस कैरेक्टरिस्टिक मीन्स कि कुछ ऐसा स्पेशल उसमें इतना कुछ डिफरेंट है जिसकी वजह से वी आर मोर प्रोन टू बी पेइंग अटेंशन टू इट. Okay, so because of its characteristically different you know sound, or maybe the intensity of its motion, something that is so sharp that we are giving it our attention, and that is going to affect our perception. We might actually, mostly it just helps us perceive danger. If you're looking at a very huge red truck coming at you with such a very high speed, you're going to be frightened. You'll be biologically, you'll feel a rush of adrenaline that you are in danger. So the characteristic of the stimulus is going to affect your perception. Effect of experience. Prior experience plays an important role in the way we interpret stimuli. It shapes your perception. For example, if you mistakenly perceive a rope as a snake in the dark, then your previous experience is guiding your perceptual process. This must have been connected to a lot of other things like learned helplessness and a lot of. If you read about it, you'll we'll come back to this again when we read about this later. So what do we see in this picture? हमें पता है ये पेन है because we have actually seen such pens, different shaped pens. That's why we are um, not having any trouble perceiving it as a pen. और बाकी सबसे बढ़िया एग्जांपल यही है कि आप अगर अंधेरे में हैं और पहले आपका ऐसा कोई इंसिडेंट आपके साथ हो चुका है, यू वर इन डार्क एंड यू एक्चुअली केम अक्रॉस अ स्नेक, so next time you are in dark and you come across a rope or a pipeline, you will be frightened that it is a snake again. So we have the effect of culture. I think this is the last yes. Effect of culture. Culture provides structure, guidelines, expectations, and rules to help people understand and interpret behaviors. So ethnographic studies suggest that there are cultural differences in social understanding, interpretation, and response to behavior and emotion. Cultural scripts dictate how positive and negative stimuli should be interpreted. This is a particular gesture in India. It means all good, you're perfect. But in Mediterranean countries, it refers to sexual insult. But in Japan, it refers to monetary relations, money. Okay. So this example suggests that interpretation, that is how we perceive certain signals, how we perceive certain behaviors in a societal context, in a cultural context, that is different for different areas with different cultures. Okay, so I was talking about a mnemonic that I created for the laws. Let me just give you that. I don't know how many of you would be actually finding it easy, how many of you would find it easy to remember it like that, but still I am sharing it with you. So I have written that PCS. P. Oh my god, this is so hard. Or maybe I'll just share it with you on WhatsApp. Don't worry about it. Alright, I'm finding it really hard to write here like that. Okay. And another thing that I wanted to tell you, I went through this part in NCRT also, constancy part especially, perceptual process, and after that we had the constancy part. If we revise it, and yes, we have. Acha, why did I not talk about these principles, Gestalt principles that are given in NCRT? Because they are a little different. The ones that are given in our material and the ones that are given in NCRT are a bit different, so that's why I didn't really mention these ones. But we can study constancy, and ये closure वाला है. ये आपको लग रहा होगा कि triangle है, लेकिन it's actually not even a triangle, just two such um, images placed in this way. Okay, so we'll go through this when we revise the next time. I'll go through this in the NCRT. Are there any questions that we can brainstorm over? Anybody who has a better explanation for something or anything they would like to share with us? Are you able to listen to me?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's it for today. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.